All right, what's up, Dragon Brood? It's that time. We're talking about a new set, and we have previews, and this time it's Marvel superheroes, and it looks like there's a lot because this is day one, and there's a bunch that's been previewed just before this. I tried not to look at most of them, so you're going to be getting my first blush opinion, I guess, from looking at these cards right along with you. So we're going to start here with Spider-Woman, Secret Agent, 3 generic and, Azorius split mana, or hybrid mana, I guess. It's a 1/4. Obviously, any of the named characters are going to be legends. It is a spy, which is interesting. I don't know if that's going to matter. But it does have flash, and when it enters tap target creature an opponent controls, that creature can't be untapped for as long as you control Spider-Woman. So this is uncommon, and it's about the right power level for it uncommon. Limited play, this card's going to be super awesome. I mean, just being able to flash in a thing, tap your opponent's thing down, and then it just stays locked down until this goes away. We're probably not going to play this in Constructed. I can't imagine, unless for some reason this fits into like some Spider Hero deck. But generally, neat card, neat flavor, but not one that's really going to see a lot of play. Tigra, Feline Fury. This is a 1 and a green for a 2/1 flash, trample, cat human hero. So if you want another cat for your cat deck, whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on Tigra. Yeah, this is cool. It's a 2/1 with flash. It gets bigger when you gain life, which some of the cat decks already want to do. It has tramples. You don't have to worry about punching it through once it has a bunch of counters on it. Like, this is actually a little unassuming, but I think this is the type of card that could see a little bit of play. Iron Fist, Living Weapon, 2 and a red for a 2/3. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you control, Iron Fist gains tap. Iron Fist deals damage equal to its power to any other target until end of turn. That's a cute card. I mean, we do have things right now that care about your stuff being targeted. Maybe in Commander if you're playing like a heroic style deck. But yeah, this is just okay. Nothing too crazy. I guess I'm running through all the uncommons first here, but Photon Blast Barrage. X red for a sorcery. When you cast this spell, copy it X times. You may choose new targets for the copies. Photon Blast Barrage deals 1 damage to target creature. Yeah, this is never getting played in Constructed. Right? You'd have to spend a bajillion mana to deal, I don't know, if you wanted to deal 5, you'd have to spend 7 mana. Like, we're not playing this. Again, if you have a bunch of mana late in the game for limited and you can pick off 2 or 3 small blockers, great. But yeah, we're not playing this in Constructed, right? Also, I should say, I expect to see at the end of this video, there's going to be a bajillion comments of, but you could do this and you do that. Yeah, of course, I'm going to miss some things. I'm looking at these cards quickly and trying to get through them because there's a billion of them. Shuri, Wakandan Inventor, 1 and a blue for a 2/1 human artificer hero. Artifact spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. You can pay 1 and tap it. Target artifact you control becomes a copy of a second target artifact you control until end of turn, except it isn't legendary. Activate only as a sorcery. So 2/1 for 2. It makes all your artifacts cheaper. So this actually, on that alone, could get some play. But then you can have an artifact become a copy of another artifact, which is interesting because you could have, say, a treasure token or a map or whatever become a copy of one of your artifacts that like pumps up your artifact creatures or something, right? So yeah, I think this actually could get played. This is actually just a reasonable card in general. Mr. Fantastic Reed Richards, 3 and a blue for a 2/4 human scientist hero with reach. Whenever 1 or more tokens you control enter, you may draw a card. Interesting that they put this on a blue card, because blue's not generally the card I think about making tokens. I mean, there's some things that make like krakens and tentacles and weird things, but like 2/4 with reach and you draw a card when you make a token. Obviously, you could splash it into the white decks that are making tokens or maybe blue-green. But yeah, interesting that this is on a blue card. Loki. I expected there would be some Lokis. Loki, God of Mischief. 1 and a blue for a 2/1. God, Sorcerer Villain, which is important because God is a creature type that matters for some things. Whenever a player or permanent becomes the target of an ability you control, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. Whenever a player or permanent, because you know what? This does have some room to be played. The fact that it says player or permanent, And it doesn't even say opponent's permanent. So you could have stuff that targets your own things. You could have stuff that targets your opponent with direct damage and draw a card. And you can draw one on your turn and their turn. You could just be like using an ability to give something flying that just like taps a creature, gives something flying, right? Because it says an ability, yeah, target of an ability you control. So like, yeah, I don't know. This is cool. It doesn't work for spells, obviously, but if you have anything that just you activate, you tap, whatever. Yeah, this is kind of cool. This is an interesting card. I don't know if it'll get a lot of play or not, but it's a cool design for a card. Echo, Perceptive Prodigy, 2 and a blue for a 1/4, human hero with vigilance. Pay 1, tap it, copy target activated or triggered ability you control from a creature source. Interesting. You can choose new targets for the copy. 2 things to note here, actually. Oh, well, never mind, because we have the comic license. So this version of Echo is going to be different if you've never read the comics. If you've only seen the TV show, then this isn't going to seem like the Echo, But in the comics, Echo can copy abilities, I think just from like perceiving the abilities in action, if I remember right. But copy target activated or triggered ability you control from a creature source. I'm trying to think like how many things in standard have creatures or it does. It actually says activated or triggered, so that's actually pretty good. It's not activated ability because there's a lot of triggered abilities. I mean, even Ouroboros just putting counters on stuff. You could copy that, and then you have like 2 things putting counters on stuff. So yeah, there's probably some things you could do with this. It is a little bit slow. 3 for a 1/4. It does have vigilance, so it can block a lot of things. But for an uncommon, this is actually pretty strong. Daredevil makes an appearance. Man Without Fear. 2 red, white, which makes me wonder if there's going to be a Punisher now that I'm thinking about it, because we have Echo and Daredevil. But we'll see. 4 mana for a 3/4 Vigilance Haste human hero. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. Always nice. Whenever you attack, you may exile the top card of your library. If that card is a hero card, Daredevil gets +2/+1 until end of turn, and you may play that card this turn. So you get a 4 mana 3/4 with Vigilance and Haste, and you get to look at your top card. And then if it's a hero card, when you attack, it just gets a bonus. This card's weird. Like it feels both really strong and not very strong at the same time, right? Because 3/4 for 4 is a lot, but you're getting Haste and Vigilance, which is really good, and information, right? And then occasionally you get a bonus. But if you are playing a deck full of heroes or, I don't know, Avengers or whatever, then like maybe it's a thing. This one's a hard one to judge. I'm going to give this a thumb middle, not a thumb up or a thumb down. This is a very interesting card. The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. You know what? People love Squirrel Girl, even though back in the day, to my knowledge, it was not a beloved comic character. She sort of, over the course of the life of the internet, became a thing that people really liked. But the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, 1 green, green, green. So that's 4 mana for a 4/4 squirrel human hero. Whenever the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl enters or attacks, create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token. You can pay 1 green, green, green. Create X 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens, where X is the number of squirrels you control. Wow, this card could be pretty spicy, especially if you have anything that cares about tokens entering or doubling your tokens or anything like that, because 4 mana for a 4/4 is fine, right? But you're really getting 5/5 technically, because you get a 4/4 and a 1/1. But then at any point you could just spend what you played to cast the spell, which you already have access to that mana, to get an additional squirrel. And then after that, it's exponential, right? So you get 1, then 2, then 4, then 8, then 16. You probably won't live that long, right? If 16 squirrels don't get the job done, game's probably over anyway, one way or the other. But yeah, this is a cool card. I could definitely see this seeing some play, even as a one-of in a token deck, or some deck that has a huge mana sink and just want a way to spend your mana. Like, great. You can just make a pile of squirrels all in one turn. Like, yeah, this is an interesting card. It probably would be popular in commander decks too. I don't know if this is going to be a regular version of a bunch of cards, but this is the version I've seen first for the Sentry, so we're going to go with this one. The Sentry Golden Guardian, 3 and a white for a 5/5, so that's already really strong. Human hero, flying, vigilance, indestructible. Oh yeah, I think I saw this a while ago when they previewed it, so there is a regular version we've seen. When the Sentry enters, target opponent creates the Void, a legendary 5/5 black horror villain creature token with flying, indestructible, and the void attacks each combat if able. So this is interesting, right? Because you get a 4-mana 5/5 with flying, vigilance, indestructible. So it's going to be hard for your opponent to deal with. But the trade-off is you're also giving them a 5/5 with flying and indestructible. Theirs doesn't have vigilance. It has to attack every turn. However, if you're able to just bounce the token or exile the token or whatever, you just have a very low-cost 5/5 flyer. Like, it might even be worth just taking the risk anyway because you're getting such a powerful creature that's hard for your opponent to deal with. Flying, vigilance, indestructible, 5/5 for 4. This card could be a player in the right type of deck. Invisible Woman, Sue Storm, 4 and white for a 2/5 human hero with lifelink. Whenever you put a 1 or more +1/+1 counters on 1 or more other heroes you control, you may create an 0/4 colorless wall creature token with Defender. Oh, this is cool. I mean, it costs 5, so it's a little bit slow. But it's a 2/5. Actually, it's very slow. 5 mana for a 2/5 lifelink. I was just thinking, with the Reed Richards we saw, this, if you had a way to put counters on stuff, then this makes a token, so then you could draw a card from the Reed Richards. So I'm assuming one of them's going to have a way to put tokens or counters on a thing, so then you could make a token, so then you could draw a card. So all of the, well, at least that'd be 3 of them, of the Fantastic Four work together, right? That would make the most sense. But at 5 mana, we're just not going to be playing this, right? Secret Invasion, 1 blue for an aura, enchant creature you control. When this aura enters, exile up to 1 target creature other than enchanted creature until this aura leaves the battlefield. Enchanted creature becomes a copy of that creature until this aura leaves the battlefield. Enchanted creature has ward 2. Whoa, is this a blue just straight up removal spell? When this aura enters, exile up to 1 target creature other than the enchanted creature. Yeah, you just, as long as you have a creature, you just get to exile something. Wow. And then, I mean, obviously they get it back if this goes away. This is kind of powerful. This changes, because right now the blue decks don't have real removal spells, right? They just have to bounce stuff or counter it. But this, I mean, even if you put it on like an otter token to get rid of a, I don't know, some 3/3 or 4/4, that's pretty significant. Granted, it does turn the creature into a copy of the other thing, so maybe you don't want to do that. But the fact that it's a for real blue removal spell is kind of cool. We're getting some comic book sagas, it looks like. So, Armor Wars, 2 red-blue. Chapter 1, you may draw a card for each artifact you control. If you do, each opponent draws a card. So if you draw... Oh, actually, this isn't bad. I was thinking your opponent gets to draw equal to you, but you draw a card for each artifact you control. So you could draw like 4, and then if you do, each opponent draws a card. So you draw 4, your opponent draws 1. Even if it's just you draw 3, your opponent draws 1. That's still really strong. And there's a lot of red-blue type artifact things you could play this in. Chapter 2, artifact spells you cast this turn cost 1 less to cast. Obviously solid. And Chapter 3, this saga deals X damage to target opponent where X is the greatest mana value among artifacts you control. Well, if you have one of the Krangs, the blue one, it costs a lot, right? You could dome your opponent for what, like 7 or whatever that thing costs? 8? So, yeah, maybe there's a home for this card. I mean, I will admit, in Standard, the artifact decks do need some extra help, so maybe this is the type of card, or other things related to the Armor Wars or Iron Man, whatever, might help those decks out. King T'Challa, 1 blue-white, and it's a 3/2 human noble hero with flash. Whenever a player draws their second card each turn, you draw a card. So whenever a player, not just you, that's cool. And you can pay 4 white-blue to transform T'Challa, activate only as a sorcery. Oh my gosh, this doesn't fit right on the screen. I'll just read it to you. It's a 3/3 for the 6 mana. You could either transform or just pay it. It has flash, double strike, prevent all damage that would be dealt to Black Panther. Whenever Black Panther deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Mostly fine, is what I would say about this card. Like, not super crazy, not bad. The fact that you could just flash it in and then, you know, possibly get some extra value is cool. It's interesting because the front and the backside kind of work together, you know, so you would need 2 different ones to have them on the battlefield. But this is just okay. I don't know if this is mythic worthy. I feel like I'm missing something when they make a mythic and I just go like, I don't know if this feels like a mythic card. But it's solid. But yeah, I don't know. This is a tough one for me. The Kingpin of Crime. 1 white black for a 1/5 human villain with extort. Whenever you attack, you may pay 2 life. If you do, until end of turn, creatures you control a toughness greater than their power assign combat damage equal to their toughness rather than their power. There's not a lot of these types of things in white-black in Standard. However, there is the Doran that already cares about that. This is a 1/5 that would fit into that deck perfectly. Extort lets you spend extra mana to drain your opponent's life total, so you'd have something to do with that. And this is like a redundant ability for Doran and the Tortoise, the 06 crab. So maybe it fits in that type of deck? Maybe? I mean, you have to pay the 2 life to get the ability, but you're able to extort and get some of the life back, so I guess it's fine. But that's kind of the only home I can think of right now for it. There might be something else, but that's the only thing coming to mind. Killmonger, Scourge of Wakanda, 2 green-black for a 3/3. Human mercenary villain. When it enters, you can sacrifice another creature. When you do, destroy a target non-land permanent an opponent controls. As long as there are 2 or more creatures in your graveyard, Killmonger is +2/+1. So, pay 4 mana, get a 3/3, sacrifice something, destroy anything your opponent controls. And then if there's 2 or more creatures in the graveyard, it's just a straight-up 5/4 for 4. Yeah, this is a quality card. If you're playing Dimir, this seems more than reasonable, especially if you're playing something with Golgari. And if you're playing anything with tokens or token creatures in Golgari, this makes a lot of sense. This is just a decent card. Well, now we have Kang, Temporal Tyrant, 2 blue-black for a 3/4 human villain. Whenever Kang attacks, he connives. All right, and connive is draw a card, then discard a card. If you discard a non-land card, you put a +1/+1 on the creature. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, each opponent loses a life, you gain a life. Oh, so Kang's just a self-contained engine. 4 mana, 3/4, attack, connive, drain your opponent for 1, have a 4/5 creature. Yeah, this is fine. If you're doing anything about like the draw 2 or anything like that, or anything that's directly draining your opponent, this card can fit into a couple of different lists. It's not bad. Hulk Gamma Goliath, 3 green-red for a 6/5. Gamma Berserker hero. Interesting. Reach Trample. Power-up abilities of other creatures you control cost 3 less to activate. His power-up is 6 red-green. Put 5 counters on Hulk. So you can have an 11/10 Hulk with Trample and Reach. All right, boss, why not? Yeah, this is fine. I mean, it's a 6/5 Reach Trample for 5, right? Like, you can't even be bothered by that. And if you have a way to just, like, ramp up and have dumb amounts of mana, you get a 11 power Trampler. Like, sure, count me in. This is interesting. It's fun. It's not crazy good. It's just an interesting, fun card. Captain America, Living Legend, 1 blue-white for a human soldier, hero, obviously, 3/4 vigilance. Whenever a creature you control becomes tapped during your turn, if it's the first time that creature has become tapped this turn, untap it. Ooh, so everything has pseudo vigilance, basically, right? Like you tap them to attack, and then it untaps those creatures. Because not a creature, right? Creature you control. So it's just, yeah, okay, I'm in. 3 mana, 3/4 with vigilance, and all my other stuff gets pseudo vigilance. Yeah, this card's strong, actually. Yeah, this is just good. I was about to say in some type of theme deck, but this could just be good in any type of white-blue or white-blue X aggro pile. Black Widow, double agent, 1 white-black for a 3/2 human hero villain with Death Touch. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gains first strike and menace until end of turn. You know what? Almost every ability we've seen in the last couple of years of just, when this creature attacks alone, this thing happens, all the way back to Kamigawa, just doesn't pan out. Like, it just takes so much work, and right now, removal is so good that if you have multiple creatures, you're like, okay, I'm just going to attack with this one, and then they have any type of spot removal, you just feel like you wasted your turn. So, this card's neat. It at least has Death Touch, so it could do some work on its own, but it's probably just okay. Here's another Iron Man, and I would venture to guess it has something to do with artifacts. But Iron Man, Armored Avenger, 3 and a blue for a 2/2. Oh, this better do something, being a 2/2 for 4. Human hero with flying. Whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Whenever Iron Man attacks, other attacking modified creatures you control gain flying until end of turn. Okay, well, it doesn't directly have anything to do with artifacts. Whenever you draw a card, put a counter on it. Whenever attacks, well, he already flies anyway. Other attacking modified creatures you control gain flying till end of turn. So if you're able to put counters or enchantments on other things, they would gain flying. You know what? If the subset of this, or sub-theme of this deck, or this set, is Simic counters, then this card is very good. Because then you're talking about putting, oh, well, this is a commander card. What am I doing? That's a different set symbol. I don't even have to worry about this card. Black Panther, Vanguard, 2, green, white, 4/4, human, hero, warrior. Whenever another non-token hero you control enters, choose one. Create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Wow, if you're playing something that makes a lot of tokens in a turn, and you can just trigger this multiple times, so like, my team gets +4/+4, or whatever the case is, that's pretty strong. And it's not bad. 4 mana, 4/4 with upside where every creature is basically going to make another creature. Yeah, this is fine. This is actually playable. Ant-Man, Colony Commander. 1 green blue for a 2/2 human rogue hero. Whenever Ant-Man attacks, you can pay 1. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Whenever you put a +1/+1 counter on a creature, create a 1/1 green insect creature token. This ability triggers only once each turn. Yeah, if you're doing Simic stuff and putting +1/+1 counters, this is making counters and creatures. So yeah, why not? This is solid. Again, nothing crazy. It's just the downside of this card, though, is it is only a 2/2, and it has to attack for you to use its ability. Now, admittedly, the other part of it is just if you're putting +1/+1 counters on stuff, you just get free creatures, right? So you just may never attack with this, but just keep stacking up bodies, which is totally fair. Go nuts. It's a green, just a green. It's a sorcery, teamwork 3. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may tap any number of creatures you control with total power 3 or more. And then you choose one. If the spell was cast using teamwork, choose both instead. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and or target creature you control fights target creature and opponent controls. All right, this is fine. It's just another sorcery speed fight spell. Construct a Cosmic Cube, 2 and a black for a enchantment plan. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/1 black villain creature token with menace, and put a plan counter on this enchantment. When the 7th plan counter is put on this enchantment, sacrifice it. When you do, you control target opponent during their next turn. First off, it's going to be hard to get this to 7 anyway. That's the first thing. If you do, you're probably already winning regardless if you take your opponent's turn. However, anybody knows me knows I'm not a fan of anything that takes an extra turn, takes somebody's turn, whatever. I don't like that in any game I've played. I don't care if it's a board game, if it's another card game, whatever. It just isn't a fun mechanic. And players that I've seen through my stores and LGSs I've hung out at, whatever, they just don't like these types of effects. They're just not fun. But card itself, it's neat. It's interesting. How often is it going to go off? Who the heck knows? But yeah, not something I'm a super fan of. I guess if there's something that lets you put an additional token on plan cards or something, or additional counter, I mean, then like maybe, but just as is, not too exciting. Avengers Assemble. 4 and a white. Enchantment. Flash. Heroes you control get +2/+2. At the beginning of each end step, if you attacked with a hero this turn, or a hero entered the battlefield under your control this turn, draw a card. Oh, okay. 2 things here. 1, this is really strong. It does cost a lot. But flashing in a 2/2 bonus for your team, pretty strong. And then also, we've seen several, or at least a couple so far, heroes with flash. So you could get a card on your opponent's turn and on your turn, which is kind of cool. So yeah, this is borderline playable, but the cost is going to be real prohibitive. It looks like we have a couple of these for the friendly colors, but Training Compound. It's a land that taps for colors, but you add a green or a red. Activate only if this land entered this turn or if you control a basic land. So it's a colorless land, but if it entered that turn, it can give you a color, or if you control a basic. This is an interesting way to do multi-lands, actually. So you're taking a risk by playing them, because you need basics to keep them on. Like if you draw 2 of these early, you have 1 color pip for turn 1 and turn 2. And then after that, you have to hope to draw your way out of it. So it's kind of an interesting balance card. These add a different little deck building wrinkle. Multiversal Incursion. 5 blue. For each non-token creature you control, create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it isn't legendary. Oh boy. Man, if you have a couple of decent creatures and you've ramped up mana with like Badger Mole Cub or something, this could be kind of fun. I mean, admittedly, there's a lot of spot removal and a lot of sweepers. So, like, even if you get to 7 mana, you might only have 2 creatures. But maybe that's enough. Who knows? Interesting card. Maybe a one-of in some decks. Really fun commander card, though, if you're trying to go over the top. The Arc Reactor. 5 generic mana for an artifact. It has Improvise. This artifact enters tapped. You tap it, add 3 colorless mana. Alright, that's fine. Like, it's solid. Like that's kind of all to really be said about it. Nothing real crazy. It's an interesting card if nothing else. But we'll see how frequently this gets played. Also more Iron Man lore, the 10 Rings. This is 8 generic mana. Legendary artifact, your maximum hand size is 10. Interesting that it doesn't just say you have no maximum hand size. Your maximum hand size is 10. At the beginning of your end step, if you have fewer than 10 cards in hand, draw cards equal to the... Oh, that's why. So you're always going to have 10 at the end of turn. Ooh, this is interesting, right? Because we have a series of artifacts, like the Planetarium that let you can play something for free. The one from Ixalan, the 6 mana one that you can just flip to discover something 5 or less, right? And those don't really see much play, so I don't think this one's going to. Because those are arguably even more powerful than this, just getting you free spells. And those also cost less. But yeah, this probably isn't getting played, but it's a really cool idea. Wolverine, Fierce Fighter, 2 red-green for a 3/5 mutant berserker hero with haste. Whenever Wolverine enters, he fights up to 1 other target creature. That makes sense. If damage would be dealt to Wolverine, instead that damage is dealt, but all other damage already dealt to him is healed. Oh, that is a weird sentence. So, I see what we're saying. So, all right, it's a 3/5. It enters. You fight something. Let's say it has 3 damage on him now, right? Because you took out a 3/3. Then you attack. Then if something would deal damage to Wolverine at that point, say they block with a 4/4, it won't kill Wolverine because all the other damage that's already on him is healed. So that 3 damage doesn't do anything. And now he's just taking 4 fresh damage. That's an interesting way. If my interpretation is right, that's an interesting way to do the healing factor or whatever. Kind of a sweet card, really. This is pretty neat. I like the design of this one. Dr. Doom, 4 black, 3/3 human scientist villain. When it enters, create 2 3/3 colorless robot villain artifact creature tokens named Doombot. As long as you control an artifact creature or a plan, Dr. Doom has indestructible. At the beginning of your end step, you draw a card and you lose a life. This is overall solid. I mean, it's a 6 mana, makes you 3 3/3s. And then at the end of turn, you lose a life, draw a card, which is fine. There's a bunch of black cards that do that. But you don't just have to control other artifact creatures. You can control a plan, and Dr. Doom has indestructible. So if there's enough plans in the set that are worth playing, and even a reasonable number of like 1 or 2 other artifact creatures, plus the ones it makes for itself, this could be a pretty hard card to remove from the battlefield. Thanos, the Mad Titan. Red, white, and black for a 4/4. So a 3 mana 4/4 Eternal Villain. Death Touch, Lifelink. Its power up is Wooburg plus a colorless. Yeah, so 6 mana. Put 2 1/1 counters on Thanos. Choose odd or even. Destroy each other creature with mana value of the chosen quality. That is funny. Yeah, this is a cool card. 3 mana 4/4 Death Touch, Lifelink. That's just a baller card, right? Even if you ignore the power-up line, which most people probably will, there's probably not going to be a lot of decks that take advantage of that. There's enough multi-lands that we could, and maybe if you're already playing this card, you could build that into your list, so you could sometimes activate it, but not usually. But if you're playing a Mardu creature deck of some kind, like just a 4/4 for 3 with Death Touch and Lifelink, that's more than solid. Electra, Daughter of the Hand, 2 black for a 3/3 human ninja villain. It does have sneak for 1 black. When Electra enters, destroy target creature an opponent controls with power 3 or less. Well, is this better than the other sneak cards we already have? Like, maybe? I mean, getting to just get rid of something small is nice for just 3 mana. But you also could just pay 4 when you draw it and get rid of something as well, even if you can't punch through. I mean, this is fine. It makes sense that it's a rare. But, yeah, not super exciting. I don't know of a list that really wants this, but it's useful in a couple of lists. Captain America Super Soldier, 1 white for a 3/2 human soldier hero with first strike. Captain America enters with the shield counter on him. As long as Captain America has a shield counter on him, you and other heroes you control have hexproof. So that's cool. So as long as he doesn't take damage to remove the shield, then everything you have has hexproof. That's fun. Thor, God of Thunder, 3 red. Interesting, they made Thor red. So 5 mana 5/5 for a god warrior hero with flying. When Thor enters, exile target equipment, instant, or sorcery card from your graveyard. Until your next turn, you may play that card. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Thor deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to any target. Whoa! That's cool. So 5 mana gets you a 5/5 flyer. You can exile a thing that you could possibly replay. And then anytime you play anything that's not a creature, you deal damage to anything. This could be a fun card. I don't know where it fits, but the ability is very strong. Monica Rambeau, 2 and a white for a 3/3 human hero with flying and prowess. She does have 2 red, white, transform Monica Rambeau only as a sorcery. So the front side, 3 mana, 3/3 with flying and prowess. More than fine for 3 mana. The backside, which I think again is not going to fit comfortably because of how this site does stuff, but I will just read it to you. It's the 5 mana, so 2 red, white. It's a 4/4. You get flying, hexproof, prowess. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. So the card itself having flying and prowess on the front, the backside gets an additional hexproof, gets to be bigger at a 4/4, and then when you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you have. I think this card is actually definitely playable. I mean, 3 mana, 3/3 with prowess, great, more than reasonable. If you ever play it directly on the backside or flip it to the backside, then you have a 4/4 with all that and extra abilities, and you get to pump your team. Like, yeah, this is a fine card for sure. Right, Tony Stark, 1 in a blue, 1/3. Human Artificer Hero, pay 1, tap it. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You can reveal an artifact card from among them, put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You can pay 4, red, blue, transform it to the backside. You know what? I'm just going to have to resize this so it fits so y'all can see these. I'm sure this is an annoying experience for y'all. I didn't realize there's going to be this many and it changes my format. Give me one quick second. All right, ta-da, here we have it. The Invincible Iron Man. So 4 red, blue for a 5/5 flying haste. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you can put an artifact from your hand onto the battlefield. If it's an equipment, attach it to Invincible Iron Man. Yeah, this ability is just strong, right? Just free artifact onto the battlefield, and if it's an equipment, you auto-equip it. Has flying and haste, also very good. I mean, it's 6 mana, so that's a pretty hefty investment. You would hope you get to play it and get a free artifact on the same turn. But yeah, it's a cool card. The front side's probably more useful than the backside, but the backside's not bad. Also, since I got the framing done, here's the backside of that Monica Rambeau. Photon, Living Light, 4/4, flying, hexproof prowess, put a +1/+1 counter on your stuff when you play a non-creature spell. Just wanted to show that so y'all can see it. And I think the other one was this King T'Challa as well, that y'all didn't get to see the backside of. So yeah, flash, double strike, prevent all combat damage to be dealt to the Black Panther. Whenever Black Panther deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. 3/3. Okay, now we continue on with other cards. Leader, Super Genius, 2 blue for a 1/3. Gamma, Scientist Villain. If a creature you control would connive, instead you draw a card, then that creature connives. Oh, interesting. So you would get to draw a card, then you get to connive. Oh, wow. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control connives. So you're automatically going to get an extra card every turn if you have a creature, or if you have this creature, right? The beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control connives. So you just do that regardless. You're going to get a card. So you're going to see 2 cards, basically, right? Draw 1, then you get to draw and discard. This card has to be decent, right? Because it's basically draw 2, discard 1 every turn for just existing. Like, yeah, this card has to be at least somewhat playable. The Masters of Evil, 5 and a black for a 5/6 human villain. Other villains you control get +2/+1. There's actually a fair amount of villains we already have access to because of Spider-Man also. Wasn't even thinking about that. 1 and a black, discard this card, search your library for a play-in card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Meh. I mean, it's 6 mana for a 5/6. Pumping your other villains is cool. Discarding it to search for a plan might make it playable, and then late game you could just play it as a body. But unless plans are really good, this probably doesn't get played. Madam Hydra, 2 red black for a 2/3 human villain. Whenever you cast a villain spell, create a 2/1 black villain creature token with menace. 4 mana for a 2/3 makes me not happy since it doesn't really do anything until you play something later. But if you're playing a villain heavy deck, getting an extra 2/1 every time you play a creature is not bad. And it does have menace. But generally, I think a card like this won't see that much play. Hey, Agent Coulson. It's a 1 and a white for a 2/2 human spy hero. Has vigilance. Put a +1/+1 counter on each other hero you control. This is actually pretty good. A 2 mana 2/2 with vigilance. And then if you have any other heroes, you just get to put a +1/+1 counter on stuff. Like, that's totally reasonable. Yeah, nothing wrong with this card. This is fine. If you're playing enough heroes, then it's worth it. Captain Marvel, Earth's Protector, 3 white for a 5/4 human Kree hero. Has flash, flying, lifelink, and power up of 7 mana, 5 white. Put a +1/+1 counter and an indestructible counter on Captain Marvel. Alright, that's fine. 5/4, flying, lifelink, flash. Sure. Nothing wrong with that. And then for 7 mana, you just get to make it indestructible. Like, mythic worthy, I don't know, but it is a really strong card. Like, it's one of those cards that even control decks could play this late in the game. Flash it in, get a big body, give it indestructible, gain 6 life back, and then just stay in control of the game, right? Even if they have to play a sweeper later, your creature has indestructible. So yeah, this is a fine card. I could see it sneaking its way into a few lists. My gosh, there's so many cards. Murdoch's Crusade, 1 and a white, sorcery, has teamwork 4. Choose 1. If it was cast with teamwork, choose both. Exile target creature with toughness 4 or greater. Exile target creature with mana value 4 or greater. Or enchantment with mana value 4 or greater. Alright, this is fine. This is just like a version of all the white cards we've seen to get rid of something with high toughness, but you possibly get a bonus of getting rid of a big enchantment as well. Hulk Smash, 1 and a red, instant, teamwork 4. Destroy target non-creature artifact. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature an opponent controls. So it's a bite spell and possibly gets rid of an artifact. Alright. Worlds Within Worlds. 5 green-blue. Sorcery. Exile all creatures. Each player may put a number of creature cards from their hand onto the battlefield. Each player may put, any number of creature cards from their hand on the battlefield. Then put all the cards exiled this way into their owner's hand. Exile Worlds Within Worlds. This card's weird. So we just remove everything from the battlefield, and then if we have any remaining creatures in our hands, we just play them. I mean, the problem with this card is that Omniscience already exists. Smuggler's Surprise already exists. You know, like, there's just other ways to get things on the battlefield, and instant speed or whatever. So, like, I don't think this is going to do much. Scarlet Witch, 2 and a red for a 2/3 mutant warlock hero. Instant and sorcery spells you cast with mana value 4 or greater costs X less to cast, where X is Scarlet Witch's power. Now, this is strong, right? You're paying 3 mana for a 2/3, but anything you play that costs 4 or more, so let's say it costs 5, now costs 3, and that's if you don't pump the power of this card at all. Like this will very likely see some amount of play. Mjolnir, Hammer of Thor, 3 and a red. It's an equipment. When it enters, deal 4 damage up to 1 target creature. Double all damage equipped creature would deal. Equip worthy. Okay, so you pay 1. A creature is worthy if it's a legendary non-villain that's red or white. That's very specific. 2 and a red, discard this card. It deals 2 damage to each creature. Yeah, this card is interesting, right? Because for 3 mana, you just discard it. It deals 2 to everything. Totally reasonable mode, right? You can play it as a 4 mana damage spell. Totally reasonable. And then maybe equip something. You're already playing red, so if you're playing red and or white things, then sure. Yeah, this probably gets played, if for nothing else, just because of the discard, deal 2 damage to everything option, and you get the upside of using it later. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. I believe this one was previewed a while ago as well. 1 green blue for a 2/2 human dinosaur hero. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur's base power and toughness become 6/6 and they gain trample. Whenever an artifact you control enters, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. So yeah, you play this in an artifact heavy deck. So when you play an artifact, you draw a card. This becomes a 6/6. Like, yeah, it makes sense. Is it good? I don't know. This is the tough thing about a card like this because it has to be put in a very specific deck to be good. So, it's not ubiquitous and going to show up everywhere, but maybe it's good in the one deck that wants to play it. Thunderbolt's Conspiracy, 3 and a black. It's an enchantment with flash. Whenever a villain you control dies, return to the battlefield under its owner's control with the finality counter on it. That creature is a hero in addition to its other types. So yeah, if you're playing villains, you just straight up play this, right? Because all your villains get a second life. So yeah, this is just, are you playing villains? Probably a good card. Are you not? It's probably useless. Oh no, there's landscapers nearby. I gotta hurry. Doom Reign Supreme, 2 and a black. Enchantment, plan. Whenever a villain you control enters, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Put a plan counter on this enchantment. When the 5th plan counter is put on this creature, sacrifice it. When you do, target opponent exiles the top 5 cards in their library. You may cast up to 2 spells from among the exiled cards without paying their mana cost. Yeah, this one's fine. Again, if you're already playing villains, then you drain your opponent. You get to put a counter on this. This doesn't even trigger once a turn, so sometimes you get to put 2 counters on it. And all it has to have is 5, which is fairly easy, it feels like. And then you just get to play something from your opponent's library for free. Like, yeah, this is... If other plans are like this, plans will be solid. Namor the Submariner, 1 blue. It's a mutant merfolk villain. It has flying. Namor's power is equal to the number of merfolk you control, so it's an X4. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell with 1 or more blue mana symbols in its mana cost, create that many blue merfolk creature tokens. Oh my god. Yeah. So just counter something, get 2 merfolk. Bounce something, get a merfolk. Like that's... Yeah, this card's going to be annoying for sure. Cool card, probably will get played. Atuma, Atlantean Warlord, 2 blue for a 3/4. Merfolk Warrior Villain. Other merfolk you control get +1/+1. Whenever 1 or more merfolk you control attack a player, draw a card. Yeah, this is right alongside Namor. like you can play Namor, then play this. You also get 2 merfolk that are going to be 2/2s. And then when you attack with your Namor that's already flying, then you get to draw a card also. So why not? World War Hulk, 3 green. Chapter 1, the next red or green spell you cast this turn can be cast without paying its mana cost. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's huge. Chapter 1 is just play this, whatever monster's in your hand gets to hit the battlefield. Put 3 +1/+1 counters on target creature you control, so you make a giant Hulk. And then chapter 3 is choose target creature you control until end of turn, double its power and toughness, and it gains trample. Like, yeah. This, oh my gosh. Like, if you're already playing a Smuggler Surprise type deck that's just trying to get big monsters on the battlefield with some payoff, this card's perfect, right? You can just play this as another way to be like, okay, cool. Play this, chapter 1. I get to play it for free. You know, like this card, man, there could be a deck based around this card. Really. This card's really cool. All right, we're getting close to finishing. Super Scroll. 1 black, black, black for a 4/5 scroll shapeshifter villain with flying. Oh boy, lots of abilities. You can pay 2 and a white, create an 0/4 wall creature token with Defender. You can pay 3 and a green. Super Scroll gets +4/+4 on the turn. You can pay 4 and a red. Super Scroll gains or deals 4 damage to target creature. You can pay 5 and a blue. Target player draws 4 cards. Okay, this makes sense because it's copying the Fantastic Four, so it's non-black triggers or activations. 5 mana, 4/5 with flying, and then upside. So even if you're playing just one of these other colors, which one would you need to be playing to make it worth it, right? Red, black, so you could deal 4 to creatures. Red, white, so you can make extra, or I mean black, white, so you can make other blockers. Yeah, I don't know. This is one that like feels okay. It's a 4 mana, 4/5 flyer, and if you're playing any other color, there's an ability. Maybe just blue. So late game, you're just like, okay, I'll just draw 4 cards. If you know, leave your mana up. If they don't do anything, draw 4. But that's probably it. I don't think the other abilities are going to get used that much on this card, which is disappointing because it's kind of a neat character. Baron Zemo, black, black, black for a 3/3 human noble villain. Whenever you cast a black spell from your hand, Baron Zemo connives. And has the ability that exile any number of black cards from your graveyard with 15 or more black mana symbols among them. Jeez. And their mana costs. Copy those cards. You may cast up to 3 of the copies without playing their mana costs. Wow. Okay. So you get a 3/3 for 3. Every time you play a black spell, you get to draw and discard. And then at any point, you can exile any number of cards you want. If they have 15 or more black mana symbols, then you get to just play 3 of them for free. This is fine, actually, because even just late game, right? Like, even if you don't set up, you just top deck it, and you're like, great, I have 15 black mana symbols in my graveyard. Let's get 3 free things. So yeah, I get to see a couple of copies of this in just the mono black decks and stuff. Quicksilver Brash Blur. 1 red mana for a 1/1 mutant hero. If it's in your opening hand, you can begin the game with him on the battlefield. It has haste. You can pay 5 as a power up, put a +1/+1 counter, and double strike on Quicksilver. Yeah, this is solid, right? You just get a free creature if it's in your opening hand, and it has haste. That's cool. Bruce Banner, 1 blue for a 1/1 human scientist hero. XX tap it. Draw X cards. Activate only as a sorcery. Okay, so you pay 4, draw 2. You can pay 2 red, red, green, green, transform Bruce Banner. Only as a sorcery. And the backside is Incredible Hulk. 2 green, green, red, red for an 8/8 reach trample. Enrage. When the Incredible Hulk is dealt damage, put a +1/+1 counter on him. If he's attacking, untap him, and there's an additional combat phase after this phase. We did see this card previously, because I remember people talking about different combos with it. An interesting thing with this card is you could play this with World War Hulk, right? And you just play that, get this for free. Your opponent's got an 8/8 reach trample they have to deal with. Or because of that card, you get to put 3 counters on it. So they're taking 11 next turn. Ugh, so good. And the crazy thing about this is because it has reach and trample, your opponent's not even benefited to block it, right? And try to prevent any of the damage, because then you just get to untap it and do it again. So yeah, kind of a crazy card, really. The Coming of Galactus, 2 black, black, green. Destroy up to 1 target non-land permanent. And then chapters 2 and 3, each opponent loses 2 life. Chapter 4, create a Galactus legendary 16/16 black elder alien creature token with flying and trample, and whenever Galactus attacks, destroy target land. Yeah, we're just going to play this card, right? It's 5 mana, destroy anything. You drain your opponent, or your opponent loses 4 life over the next 2 turns. And then you get a 16/16. Now, admittedly, it is a flying trample token, but doesn't have indestructible, doesn't have ward, anything like that. So it's fairly easy to deal with if they have a hard removal card. But man, that's a lot of value for 5 mana, right? It's 5 mana, destroy the most powerful thing. Your opponent loses 4 life, you get a 16/16. Like, somebody's going to play this, right? Golgari midrange, looking for these types of cards. Whew, all right, I think we got through everything. That was a lot of cards. So, yeah, if you're a Marvel fan, they've done a lot to capture the feel of the set, and there's a lot of cool stuff here. But y'all let me know two things. One, what do you like so far from what you've seen? And two, what are you hoping to see that we haven't already seen? Because we still have, I guess, 2 weeks of previews. But yeah, let me know down in the comments. That's all I have you for now. We'll see you next time.